Alexander the Great kills his best friend and loses himself. Alexander the Great, covered in blood, kneeling on the marble floor. He tries to grab the spear from a guard's hands. The guards hold his arms. He screams, cries, fights. He wants to kill himself. He calls out a name. Cleitus, Cleitus, Cleitus. The greatest conqueror in the world just killed the man who saved his life. And now, he can't live with it. This is the story of one night. One night when the most powerful man in the world lost control. Not in battle, not before an enemy army, but at a dinner table, with wine, with friends. Alexander the Great conquered Persia, Egypt, Mesopotamia, defeated kings, took cities, marched to the edge of the known world, won every battle, except one, the battle against himself. And on this night, in Samarkand, in the year 328 BC, he's going to lose that battle irreversibly. 12 hours earlier, Samarkand, 328 BC. Alexander is 28 years old. He conquered Persia, Egypt, Mesopotamia, rules the greatest empire the world has ever seen. And tonight, he celebrates. Another victory, another city taken, another people subjugated. The palace is lit, torches on the walls, tables loaded with food, Persian wine in silver cups. Macedonian veterans drink at his side, men who marched with him from Greece, who bled at Issus, at Gaugamela, at Tyre, men who've been away from home for 8 years. Among them, Cleitus, general, veteran, Alexander's childhood friend. They grew up together. Cleitus was older, protected Alexander when they were boys. And 6 years earlier, at the Battle of Granicus, Cleitus saved Alexander's life. In that battle, Alexander led the cavalry, alone, ahead of everyone, as always. A Persian horseman raised his sword over Alexander's head, a fatal blow. Cleitus came out of nowhere, cut off the Persian's arm before the blade fell. Alexander lived. Cleitus always reminded him of that. "You owe me a life, Alexander." They used to laugh about it, years ago. But tonight, no one's laughing, because something has changed. Alexander doesn't dress like a Macedonian. He wears Persian robes. He sits on an elevated throne, demands that Macedonians bow when entering the room, Persian style, proskinesis, a subject's reverence to a god-king. His veterans hate this. They conquered this empire, killed Persians by the thousands. And now, Alexander acts like he's one of them. Some veterans accept it, swallow their anger. Others drink in silence. Not Cleitus. He drinks. And the more he drinks, the more he talks. Bitter comments, sarcastic laughs, defiant looks. Other Macedonians notice, exchange nervous glances. Cleitus doesn't stop. "Did you conquer all this by yourself, Alexander?" The room goes silent. Music stops. Conversations die. Everyone looks at Alexander. Alexander raises his eyes, looks at Cleitus, smiles. But the smile doesn't reach his eyes. "Of course not, Cleitus. I had brave men at my side." Cleitus laughs, a bitter laugh, drunk. "Brave men. And a father who conquered Greece before you learned to hold a sword." Veterans around them freeze. One touches Cleitus's arm, whispers, "Enough." Cleitus pulls his hand away. "Philip, your father, won at Chaeronea. Philip unified Macedonia. Philip gave you a ready army, and you just had to march east." Alexander stands, slowly. The smile is gone. "My father's been dead for 10 years, Cleitus, and I conquered more in 10 years than he did in his entire life." Cleitus also stands, unsteady, but firm, defiant. "Your father built Macedonia from nothing. You inherited everything." Another veteran tries to intervene. "Cleitus, please." Cleitus ignores him, looks straight at Alexander. "Your father was greater than you." Pause. The entire room holds its breath, and you know it. Alexander looks at Cleitus, not with anger, not yet, with something worse: pain, betrayal. "Get out." Alexander's voice is low, controlled, dangerous. "Get out before I do something I'll regret." Guards approach Cleitus, try to take him out. Cleitus resists, pushes one of them. "You want me to leave? Why? Because I told the truth?" He points at Alexander. "You're not a god, Alexander. You're just a man who got lucky." Alexander takes a step forward, fists clenched, jaw locked. "Lucky? Lucky?" His voice rises, echoes off the stone walls. "I conquered the world. I defeated Darius 3 times. I took Tyre when they said it was impossible. I crossed the desert when my men begged to turn back." He pounds his chest. "I did this. Me." Cleitus laughs, a defiant laugh, reckless, suicidal. "You crossed the desert with 30,000 Macedonians who bled for you. Macedonians who lost friends. Macedonians who've been away from home for 8 years. He takes a step forward. "And now you treat them like Persian servants, demand they bow, call you a god." Another veteran stands, tries to hold Cleitus. "Enough, brother." Cleitus breaks free, violently. "You forgot who you are, Alexander. Forgot where you came from." Alexander grabs a cup, throws it against the wall. It explodes into pieces. Wine runs down the stone like blood. "You don't understand anything." "I understand that you became what we came to destroy." Silence. Alexander breathes heavily, hands trembling, not from fear, from fury. Cleitus continues. "You think your father would be proud to see you dressed like this, betraying everything he built?" Alexander freezes. His eyes change. Pain turns to pure rage. He moves, fast, grabs the spear from a guard's hands. Alexander crosses the room, 3 steps. Veterans shout, "No!" Cleitus sees it, opens his mouth. Too late. Alexander drives the spear into Cleitus's chest. The iron tip enters, tears flesh, breaks bone, comes out the back. Cleitus stops, looks down, sees the iron, sees the blood. He raises his eyes, looks at Alexander. There's no anger in his face. There's sadness, deep disappointment. He opens his mouth, tries to speak, can't. Blood rises in his throat, runs down his lips. He falls. The sound of his body hitting the marble floor echoes through the room. Absolute silence. No one moves. No one breathes. Alexander drops the spear. It hits the floor. He looks at his own hands, covered in blood. Looks at Cleitus, motionless, eyes open, dead. And then he realizes the man who saved his life at Granicus is dead by his hand. The collapse. Alexander falls to his knees. He crawls to Cleitus, touches his face, still warm. "Cleitus, Cleitus, wake up." Nothing. He shakes the body. "Wake up!" Nothing. He tries to pull the spear. Blood pours out. Guards run over, hold Alexander. He fights. "No, I can fix this." He sees another spear, tries to grab it, wants to kill himself. Guards drag him away from the body. Alexander screams, cries, "Let me die! Let me! I deserve to die!" Guards drag Alexander to his room. He struggles. They lock the door. Inside, Alexander screams, pounds the door, pounds the walls. "Cleitus! Cleitus!" He stays in there for 3 days, without eating, without drinking water, just cries. In the first moments, he tries to break the door, punches the wood until his knuckles bleed. Then, he stops, sits on the floor, looks at his hands stained with dried blood. He relives Granicus, the Persian sword coming down, Cleitus appearing, saving his life. "You owe me a life, Alexander." He closes his eyes, Tears fall. I paid, Cleitus. I paid. Generals knock on the door. Ptolemy, Hephaestion, Perdiccas. Alexander, please, come out. Silence. Alexander, it was an accident. Cleitus disrespected you. More silence. Alexander, please. Nothing. Macedonian soldiers stand in the courtyard. Whisper. He killed Cleitus. Cleitus, who saved his life. Who is this man now? Trust breaks. Loyalty cracks. They'll still follow Alexander, but not out of love, out of fear. On the third day, Alexander comes out. Thin, red eyes, hoarse voice. He doesn't talk about what happened, doesn't apologize, doesn't explain. He resumes the campaign. But everything is changed. Paranoia grows. In the following months, he suspects everyone. 1 year later, young court pages are accused of conspiring against him. Alexander tortures them, Hephaestion them. 2 years later, Alexander goes mad with grief. The distance between him and his Macedonians grows every day. They follow him, but they don't love him anymore. 5 years after Cleitus's death, Alexander dies in Babylon, 32 years old, alone, drunk, paranoid. In his final days, he talks to himself, delirious, calls out names of the dead, Philip, Hephaestion, and Cleitus. Ancient historians say that Alexander, delirious in bed, begged for forgiveness. Cleitus, forgive me. I didn't mean to. Forgive me. But Cleitus wasn't there to hear. His empire explodes into civil war. Generals fight for the throne. The empire shatters. Everything Alexander built, destroyed. Just like he destroyed Cleitus. What remains? Cleitus was buried in Samarkand, without military honors, without speeches. Alexander gave orders, quick burial, discreet, silent, as if Cleitus had never existed. He never visited the tomb, never spoke about that night in public, but in private, he couldn't stop. Hephaestion said that Alexander would wake up in the middle of the night screaming Cleitus's name, that he'd drink himself unconscious to avoid dreaming of that face. The man who saved Alexander's life at Granicus was killed by Alexander in Samarkand, and Alexander spent the last 5 years of his life trying to forget. But he never could, because some decisions can't be undone. Some words can't be taken back. Some blows can't be reversed. Alexander conquered the world, defeated kings, took cities, marched to the edge of the known earth, won every battle, except one, the battle against himself. That night, in Samarkand, drunk, furious, out of control, he lost, and never truly won again. If this story made you think about leaders who lost control in seconds, you need to know another one. Nicholas Romanov lost everything for the same reason. The most powerful czar in the world, ruled 130 million people, 1/6 of the Earth's surface. He believed divine will protected him, that the empire was too vast, too strong to fall, until a single event changed everything. Within months, the 300-year empire collapsed. The czar who commanded millions became a prisoner. And when the end came, it came in a way no one expected. Tsar Nicholas II, from 130 million subjects to an execution. You can find the link on screen now and in the first pinned comment. If you want to keep watching stories about the exact moment everything collapses, subscribe to the channel and share it with people who also think about these historical ironies. Leave your comment down below. See you in the next video.